Next team coaching session. As of right now, nobody signed up. I had done 3 coaching sessions with that team because that was like the packages that we agreed to. And I don't officially have a place for people to sign up for it. I've had various teams approach me about potentially being interested in something like that. Um, but as of right now, there's no team coaching in the pipeline. We've got a coaching session. I got to play with that team again? Ah, nice. Hello? How's it going? Yeah, it's going. I'm actually having a very good weekend. Um, thank you, thank you. Um, nice. Yeah, I love escape rooms. Did you guys complete it? Very good. Very good. I think I would have had to cancel the session if you had failed. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So yeah, I mean it's been a little while, because of like the 3 week delay with Dream League and stuff. So give me a little update, on what your goal for this time around is, or where you're at with stuff. Out of curiosity, do you think there's any sort of mental blocker in there, or do you think it's just something that people in that bracket understand that you struggle to beat? Yeah, give me a second here. That does make sense. Would you say that when you're losing, is it a gradual occurrence, or is it something where at some point your brain kind of just snaps off? How often would you say you're assessing your chance to win the game in the middle of the game? Okay, interesting. Um, So I guess what I'm wondering is, like, if yeah, I guess I'm trying to figure out potentially what is causing that discrepancy in terms of your mindset from when you're winning and when you're losing. That's what I'm like trying to maybe figure out a little, at least get a little insight on here, in order to help you, because I think part of helping you would be to help you understand things to do when you're losing. I think like that's absolutely a part of it. Um, but I'm also wondering, like, in order to help you that way, I think I need to also understand, yeah, what your brain is saying when you're losing. Like, why do you think it's snapping into this like autopilot? Presence of mind is lost. Like, to the best of your ability to articulate. Like, why do you think that's happening? Oh,
think I really struggle to play with a support who doesn't trade. And I say this from like my playing point of view, why they do this, or maybe they're afraid, maybe they don't really play support. Why they're doing it is irrelevant. I think me as a player, I really struggle to play with a support that does not defend me. They're a little bit more passive. Um, they're more willing to let me just trade the HP and then hand me a tango and go pull. Um, so like if I run into a lane where I do not where like within the first 3 waves I'm like taking a crap ton of damage, I think I get like real demoralized and I don't know what to do. Um,
so it sounds like a bit
I,
of
I
or a large feeling of powerlessness to some degree. Would you agree, or is it different?
yeah. And I do so. Again, this is not their fault. I'm not blaming them for how I play, because if I was good enough, I would know how to play. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not saying that you're blaming them. I don't think that's what you're doing. Um, I'm saying that my impression of it is that something happens to you, and you have no idea how to handle it, basically. Because shit like that happens, basically. Is that would you say that's accurate, or that's my
Yeah.
interpretation? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't take anything you're saying as trying to shift the blame. I think the most important part about everything is that, yeah, we can't control what happens, but we can control how we respond to it. So it sounds like you're struggling to find a response that, uh, yeah, helps, I guess, or leads to the best case scenario, given the circumstances. So
It's
yeah, go ahead.
particularly rough because I do notice that ancient players are significantly more aggressive in lane than legend players. Like and it's funny because again, when I hit legend, I thought that as well. I was like, wow, these guys, they're not afraid to walk up and hit me. And then gradually over time that went away. I climbed, but now I'm at this barrier, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, man, it's like this off lane could just walk up and hit me, and I can't do anything about it. And I'm just constantly taking bad trades and stuff like that.
So I want you to imagine that, like, this is how I see it. This is how I see this, and I think it's important for a lot of people out there to hear this sort of thing. So, like, the way I look at it is, we're all like trapeze artists, trying to go through the Dota game, and
Yep.
there's like we're like walking across the rope, and the first like 2,000 MMR is understanding how to walk across the rope. But the rope at the start is like 3 meters, 10 feet long or wide. It's like super wide. Like, there's a way that we're supposed to do it, but we still need to know how to do it. And that's like the first 2,000 MMR. And for me, after that point, like, I actually think that 2,000 MMR games are not that much different than mine. Like, that's my takeaway. But what it is as you go up an MMR, the rope gets thinner, and the rope is getting thinner technically because the other people in the game make it more difficult to do the same thing. Like you have like they're fucking with you a lot more. They're pressuring you. They're making decisions faster. So for me, like when I play against high MMR players, I don't feel like they're doing anything most of the time. I don't feel like they're doing anything that I don't understand. They're just ahead of me. Or they're bullying me or pressuring me in a way that like I'm not ready for. Like for me, that's what MMR feels like. Is it's the same game past like 2K-ish. It's not like an exact cutoff, but it's all about, yes, higher pressure, higher tempo. I am under more duress in order to make the same decisions. That's how I view MMR. Does that kind of line up with what you're saying here? Because that's how I view it.
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
It's not that the game is played dramatically differently. It's just that like the other team knows how the game is played and they're gonna stop you.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, exactly
yes.
what you said.
Yeah. So I think that's a pretty big misconception that I've experienced. Actually, a big misconception amongst pro players, meaning that I think that they think, I mean, it's not even I think they think, they've explicitly communicated, numerous of them, that like 2K MMR isn't real Dota, you know? It's like, for me, I'm like, if you really sit there and watch, it's actually the same game, really slow. And like, really, like, people make wrong judgment calls. Like, they're assessing the matchups and they're playing the game, but it's just poorly done or slow. But it's actually the exact same. Like, that's been my experience. It's just obviously a huge skill gap. So I just think it's really interesting that there's like this different Dota at every bracket. I don't really think that's true. I think below 2K, there's a little bit too much chaos. And the first thing to do is to learn to do the thing that everyone else is doing. Like that's like play, like basically the fundamentals of the game. And then, yeah, past that point, we're all just playing the same game, but it's how fast and how accurately we play that game. And how many situations that you can replicate that game, you know? So in your case, it sounds like you're really struggling with high pressure. Your support's not really helping you. And that's something that absolutely every carry player will suffer, even at my bracket, where the opponent will apply more pressure to me than my support helps. That happens like from time to time. So it's definitely an essential thing to really understand for you to get out of lanes decently. I mean, the only question now is, do you have a specific replay where that happened? Or what would we like to do today?
Give me 2 seconds here.
Because theoreticals are great, obviously, but if we don't have it in person in front of us, stuff.
I'm looking back through my losses right now, looking for a game where I came out of the lane with like less than stellar net worth. All right, yeah, let's look at this one. This was 3/11, so 4 days ago, so not past the barrier. All right.
We're all good.
I have posted the
I got
ID.
you. I'll share screen with you. You are Luna here.
Side note, I have learned to hate this frog with a passion.
Yeah, he's very strong.
I will say, in this one, so I recognized that my support was not like willing to fight them, and I was like, dude, we have to fight them because at this early point, I didn't feel that they were stronger than us. Like when he only has like catchy lick and level 1 frogs, and it went badly. I think we died as a pair trying to force them away and or kill them like twice, maybe 3 times. It was rough.
I have a general rule of thumb for this. I'm either going to communicate my plan going into the lane, or I don't say anything pretty much the whole time. If I tell a guy to be aggressive and he's not being aggressive, it just leads to feeding 90% of the time.
Right.
That's been my experience. Like, I can't tell somebody to do something they don't already understand. So the only thing, go ahead.
Is it because you think they get frustrated, or is it because you think they don't know how to do what I'm asking them to do?
It's because they're doing something that you're understanding the reason why you're telling them and they don't.
Okay.
The most important thing is for us to communicate our understanding of the situation. And the problem is we can't do that in the middle of the situation. It's very difficult. It's infinitely more difficult. So like if we say something like, it's, you know, they've pulled the large camp twice and it's like, hey, can you please try to block the pull camp? Otherwise, like, it's going to be really rough. Like, that's the kind of stuff where you can say it but that's like a very specific action. But it's like, be more aggressive, contest them at CS more. Like, that's just there's too much to that. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yes,
it's very like the way they do it is really important. It's like the guy centering the hard camp, sure, maybe the pathing he takes is important, but like the action is incredibly specific. So like if you can say something like, hey, if this Largo walks over there, be ready to go on him. That's like very different than like, we need to be more aggressive. So like communicating like sentiment in the lane, I've just learned never do it anymore. Just don't.
Right.
It backfires every single time in my experience. And so I think for you, just a thought exercise is distinguishing between specific requests and things that require mutual understanding of what you mean.
Right.
I just don't say the latter. I've realized if this guy requires the understanding of the very specific thing and it will take me time to articulate it, I just don't say it. And I just let him play his game. That's like, I just adjust then to what he's doing. Oh, he's playing hyper passive. I'll just defensive aggro, rush treads, and ditch this lane. Like, that's what I will do. So, if we ever try to get him to understand what we're wanting him to understand, feed central. Every time. That's been my experience. And I think it's a mistake I've had to make and reflect on a billion times. So like, you know, I think only really since I started, this is a anecdote, but as a YouTuber, I used to have a very toxic mentality towards this. I think it was partially cultivated by the Dota community, actually. I don't feel like I thought this when I was younger. But if I said something to my viewers and half of them understood it and half of them didn't, I would just think, oh, those half are like the smart ones and those half are the stupid ones. That's how I used to think. Okay. Like this is like 7 years ago. This is a long time ago. So my point is that realization of how much that was getting in the way of me learning to communicate better and understanding what it means for others to need to understand me. I've had to think about a lot of what it means for people to understand what I'm saying and what happens when I try to tell them what to do and they don't understand what I mean. And I just realized it just leads to a bunch of fucking bad stuff. And it's like, I think of it also in reverse. Like, what if somebody tells me to do something and I don't know why they want me to do it? I don't make good plays. Like, I'm not going to do good stuff. And it's not like, the thing is, it's not like you're responsible for him for blindly listening to you. But we have to also take accountability that if we're saying things to people that require them to understand, that there's like that X% chance they're just going to blindly listen and fuck it up. And that's a lot higher of a bad outcome, in my experience, than not saying anything at all. And just adjusting to what he's doing. Like, oh, he's playing hyper passive, I'll adjust. rather than trying to get him on the same page. I feel like once you're already in the lane, it's really hard, if not impossible, to get on the same page with somebody. So I either communicate stuff like this prior to the game starting, like meaning like right now, or I just don't communicate it at all. That's how I've looked at it. Does that help or make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's really important because I know what you're talking about. It's like a snowball negative effect, and I imagine I think I have an idea of what I will see since you mentioned like what happened. Yeah, fortunate start to the lane there. That's only one thing, I guess.
Yeah.
But,
This game, the early game really sucked, but like the mid game, we came back. So like, it's always the early game that's bad.
so my thought is, why are you hitting the tiny? My question.
Because at the time I didn't see the frog. I was like, oh, he's alone. I'm just gonna hit him. You know, get some damage in.
Interesting. Let me think for a second.
I also know that so Tiny starts out with 0 armor. So I have this I in my head I have like this small roster of like heroes that like take a lot of damage level 1. Tiny, Doom, Beastmaster, like they're like really susceptible to right clicks early. So like I aim to hit them a few times level 1 just to like kind of put them on the back foot and make them more defensive.
Okay.
Is that the right idea? I don't know, but
Okay.
I have noticed about them that
Okay.
they're squishy.
Okay. Let me think about this. What you're saying is not wrong, but it's gonna get you in trouble a lot. So let me think about how to describe what I think is a healthier or more accurate way to view this. So for me, all of this aggression stuff is what defines MMR in regards to once you understand the way to play the game, it then comes down to all of these hero to hero interactions and how you pressure each other and force each other to make mistakes and stuff. So the number one question that matters when I go hit the guy is, what is his response? So it doesn't matter how much fucking armor they have. It matters when I go on this guy, what's he going to do?
Right.
So when I go on Tiny, I know he's going to avalanche me. So I have to ask myself, am I in an okay position getting hit by 2 creeps, not seeing the other guy, with getting avalanched right now? Because I'm a ranged hero. So these 2 creeps during an avalanche are going to hit me 3 or 4 times. That's an extra 100 damage on his avalanche.
Right.
That's a lot of damage. Suddenly his avalanche is 200 damage.
Yep.
Right? But do I mind if he avalanches me after I've defensive aggroed them to the range and I haven't aggroed the creeps? So what I might do is walk at him aggressively. I might defensive aggro here and then walk past the creeps aggressively, because then if he avalanches me, he's using 100 mana to get 0 CS and no bonus damage. Like, that's different. Do you see like how the nuance of that situation changes the impact of his avalanche?
Yes.
So that's like, rather than this armor, which I see what you're thinking. Like, the way I look at all of this stuff is your way of thinking got you to 3,800 MMR. So there was a benefit to it, of course. And it's good to understand this hero's armor is this. Like, these things are good. Like, it's good to have the numbers. It's good to know, like, I will have more impact right-clicking this guy. But I've learned that other than like, for me, getting to like 2K is a lot about knowing, like, yeah, armor matters. Yeah, like move speed matters. Like, these are foundational aspects of Dota. And then past that, it's all feel. Like, it's all feel. Like, I'll understand matchups over time by feeling them out. And it comes with a lot more specific scenario understanding. So it's like, when I hit this guy, what's he going to do? What are the exact circumstances that make Tiny Avalanche a scary spell? And so I will only hit him when Avalanche is not a scary spell to me. And so, or he doesn't have it, like he used it already. So then it becomes about doing things that bait them to use shitty avalanches, and then for the next 20 seconds, you can hit him.
Okay.
But what we don't want to do is walk into him aggressively, giving him a good avalanche, right? That's what we don't want to do. So usually really good moves as you get better at the game are two-pronged. I know what his response is going to be to counter my aggression. I force that response in some way that's not detrimental to me, and then I fuck him up for the next 20 seconds. You know?
Yep.
Or at least I control the lane. You know, like I have the superior CSing and control. Does all of that make sense? What I just said?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Cool.
I do think that I don't actively think about what is this hero going to do when I do this. That is something that doesn't cross my mind as much as it should.
100%. I mean, that's the part where that's the only way that you can learn to pressure people. And that's how these players are thinking. Right? Like you feel like they're bullying you more, they're pressuring you more, they're like not afraid to hit you. It all stems from what does this guy do if I hit him? If I'm a Lion 4 and the Luna's by herself and I attack her, worst case, she's going to fucking beam me. But like, if she tries to run at me, I'll just impale her, kite her a little bit, and hit her 4 times. Like, what's she going to do to me? Like, that's what it's rooted in, is like, I know you can't do anything to me if I just hit you. Right? So it's all about this. So like, I'll just say, Corey, like, the problem we want to look at is when I do this, when I do something, what is the other guy's response? This like dictates heavily when you hit people in lane, especially. Like that's why you're getting harassed by supports more. They're like realizing the only detriment of me hitting this guy is potentially getting gone on or like griefing the lane equilibrium or something like that. So like I think you're around the bracket where people will start thinking like this, and later you, as you get better and better, your situation will, it's like this is a very in-depth process, right? Like it's like the exact nuance of when you're allowed to hit somebody, these little things build up so much, and that's why if I lane against a 4K, I'll just shit on him, right? Because it's a million little things that I'm noticing that he's not. But you gain MMR by adding little things over time. It's just like, oh, slightly better understanding of this matchup, slightly better understanding of when to hit people, when to not hit them, based on creeps and all that kind of stuff. There's all types of stuff that matter here. Cooldowns, creeps, field numbers, like you have a better idea of how that trade's going to go. I don't expect you to know these answers. If you're asking yourself that question a million times over the course of your games, what happens when I hit this guy? Then you will get better at this, period. I know you will. So any questions on that?
No, it's fine.
Sweet. I know I rambled there. Let's get into it. Okay. I know that's like one mistake or like one thing you did, but I've learned myself that that's generally one mistake like that. Unless you said I do think about this, that was just an exception. But the way you told me you thought about it, I'm like, okay, I can see why he hit him, but I don't think that's helping. Okay. Okay. Yeah, lane seems to be going fine. Yeah.
Tried to beam him to deny the creep. It didn't work.
Yeah, wait. So what? So are you communicating to your support to hit them more? Is that what's happening?
I believe so. Yeah. I was like, hey, I need you to like right click, because we can fight them. Obviously, him getting tossed back into the frog is like not ideal.
Okay, I'm telling you, if you gave me no context, I'm perfectly fine with what's happening in this lane. You're a double ranged versus a kill melee lane. The only way this goes poorly is if they feel confident to go on one of you. I actually think what he's doing is correct. His job is that Tiny doesn't walk into you and avalanche combo you into the Largo. And his job is to position himself so he also doesn't have that happen.
Okay.
That's his. Do you see how that's the role that he has in this lane as a support?
Yeah.
So by you telling him to right click, he's going to be like, oh shit, I need to be more aggressive. That means that Luna thinks I can be more aggressive. I'm going to walk forward out of position and get tossed.
Right.
So I want to show you that, like, I actually see why you think he's not right-clicking at all, but I also want to tell you why he's not right-clicking at all. Look at what happened.
Yep.
And I also am like, oh, you're farming fine. Like, meaning they're not, like, denying you a super high amount or anything like that. Like, you're getting creeps. And you're not getting, like, bullied out of lane or anything like that. So for me, I'm like, if you did not give me any context, I thought this was perfectly fine. What I just watched for, like, the last minute and a half. By both of you. Not just him, but, like, both of you.
Yep.
So I think it's really important. I would even say have blind faith for now. Like, there's going to be mistakes that they make, but have blind faith that what they're doing is, like, if somebody's not hitting, there's a reason. I've learned that. It's really hard to know what is not happening because of the way you're playing properly. It's kind of like, have you ever seen, like, a really weird rule in, like, a rule book and you're like, why the fuck does that exist? Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, why does it exist? Because some really weird situation happened where they felt the need to make that rule so it doesn't happen again, right? It's kind of similar when your support's, like, not hitting them a lot of the time. It's like, why the hell is this guy as a ranged hero just not clicking them? But position in Dota is, like, a really important thing. And I'm not saying every support you have that's not hitting them is, like, nailing this, but I've learned myself that a lot of times, like, actually playing the support, because I have to do that sometimes, that, like, the worst thing I can do is try to play overly aggressive.
Yep.
So there is a backfire to that. There is a fine line. And so I think it's generally better to be slightly under the aggression than it is to be slightly over. But also there would be players that disagree with me there, right? There would be players that say, I'd rather push my limits and be a little bit past it and die. I do think it's better for learning that way. But if I'm pretty confident what the limit is, I'm going to play a little bit beneath it. Like, that's what I'll do. That's my preference. So yeah, it's just interesting because I love these type of discussions, because if you hadn't told me anything, I'd just be like, yeah, what Disruptor was doing seemed fine. You were farming. It's all good. CS is decent. You weren't getting harassed, but now you're the one getting tossed in. Yeah.
I think this might be the point where, like, it all kind of goes bad.
Yeah. And it looks like you guys are going to try to be more aggressive. Yeah. I mean, it's a kill lane versus a farm lane, because I don't think you guys really have the best kill threat.
That felt really bad.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Draw attention to the disaster. Okay. It logically checks out to me that if going into this session, you never really ask yourself, what happens if I hit this guy? That you've never thought, what happens if my support walks up more aggressively?
Yes.
So if you don't understand that and you're communicating to your teammates, every time you do that, on average, you're going to grief the game. Like, on average. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's hurting the game, not griefing. Griefing is the wrong word. But that communication is actually actively hurting the game. Do you see what I mean?
I understand.
Yeah.
I do.
And so, yeah, I know coming into this, you were like, I'm not blaming them. I'm trying to figure out what to do. But yeah, this is a core part of Dota in the laning stage. And I can see why before 4K, you didn't really need to learn it, because the people below that aren't the greatest at it either. So it's fine. I think this, from my perspective, like, earlier in the session, I was like, I really need to understand what's happening. I feel like I have a clear understanding of the one component you're missing that, if you refine over time, will significantly change your laning phase. Do you agree? Like, does it feel that way too? Or is there something gnawing at you about anything I've said, basically? Because I'm not trying to, like, end this conversation, but the laning stage for me feels clear.
No. I do. So I need to more actively think about, like, what happens if I walk up, what happens if my support walk up, don't pressure them to play outside of their game, because just like I have an understanding of what my hero does and what is a kill possibility for me, they probably have an understanding of like, this is bad for me, this is good for me.
Yeah.
So like I can push them into a bad scenario. All of that makes sense. The only lingering question I have, like in the back of my head, is is it because like I associate Disruptor as a kill lane because of his glimpse back. Is it just his pairing with my hero? Like if it was a Juggernaut with spin, like we would be more aggressive, or is my framing of the Disruptor bad?
Your framing lacks what happens when these 4 heroes all run at each other.
Right.
It all stems from the same problem. Like Disruptor Luna can be a really good kill lane if you have treads up by 1 level and Largo can't trade with you.
I see.
Like
Okay.
then all of a sudden, yeah, like you have your damage is super efficient and free, but the opponent has way better all-in kill threat. Like way better. Right? Like Avalanche Toss into Frog Stomp Largo Lick. Like that's so much better than like glimpsing them into a Luna. Right?
Okay.
So yours is in this exact instance, you have a more trade sustain farm lane, and they have a more kill lane. So if no kills happen, you win this lane.
Yep.
Like that's how I look at these, like this dynamic. And so I can understand how Disruptor is a kill hero to you, but he's only a kill hero if glimpsing them into a hero that struggles to do damage positionally. So yeah, Jug Spin.
Right. Okay.
Right. But yeah, Disruptor's great at pulling them out of position, but a melee hero against Luna doesn't mind being point blank range. Like, fine. I'll just be a melee hero against a ranged hero. That's fine. But pulling somebody into an Ursa or a Jug or a Slark or maybe like an Anti-Mage or a Kez, that can be fucking terrifying. So, but yeah, so for me, this lane was all about playing for small camp. He didn't unblock it for quite some time. I'd be completely chilling, play small camp. If I get treads and we have some sort of advantage where I can freely hit the Largo, then I know we have kill threat. That's how I would look at this lane. But it's because I'm poking him down over time. And so he's like half HP. I'm like 2/3 HP with a raindrop. And when he gets glimpsed back into me, he can't fight me. He just has to run. And if that's the case, then we win the lane.
Right.
And that's me trying to show what thousands upon thousands of hours of thinking about lanes leads to in terms of articulation of my thoughts about the lane. You're not wrong. Glimpse is a good kill threat. You understand Disruptor. But like, and I'm not trying to flex on you, but like you see the difference where you're not wrong. It's just a bit like, I mean, the depth is, we just need to increase the depth a bit.
Okay.
And that's done, in my opinion, by you gradually gaining that understanding of when we go on these guys, when we use these spells on these guys, when we right-click these guys, what happens. And that's just something that it's not going to answer today. It's not going to be fixed by tomorrow, but you will head in the right direction, and that's what MMR is all about. And that's what I strive for in these coaching sessions, is sending you guys off in the right direction, basically.
Okay.
Do you feel equipped to like basically run that yourself?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Right now I think the goal for me is at 0 minute when I'm waiting for the rune, look at what I think my lane is and think about what happens if I step up. You know what I mean? So like if I see like a lion tiny, I need to like, all right, so what happens if I step up to these heroes? I think when you're under the gun in the lane and you're trying to like time a last hit, it could be inefficient for brain power to be asking yourself these questions. So you should already know what is going to happen. So think about it before you hit the lane. Does that sound like an actionable plan?
I think that is a very good way to do it. Yeah.
Okay.
I think you're absolutely right about, it's the same way of trying to communicate understanding to Disruptor during the lane. You trying to gather this understanding during the lane is not going to happen. I think this applies to every aspect of Dota that we are attempting to learn. that we must make an assessment before the game starts of what we think will happen, so that when things happen, we have a basis of, you're a little bit too far leaning right on the tightrope. You know what I mean? Like, oh, whoops, I went a little bit that too aggressively. I went a little bit too passively. That kind of stuff. And it's all done by exactly what you just said. And I completely agree with your approach. So that sounds good to me. I wrote it down in your notes of 0 minutes in the game. What is the dynamic of my lane? What happens when I walk up to these heroes? Establish the questions before the start of the lane. I put that in your notes. Does that sound like what you said?
Yes.
Cool. I like that a lot. I think that's a great solution to the way to go about it. Okay. So the thing is, no matter what, we fuck up sometimes. So we're gonna see what you talked about what to do in losing situations. Let's see. Okay.
That I saw the 3 heroes and we were full health. I was like, yeah, let's just go for it.
No, I don't think it's bad. I mean, it's all about, is it griefing your farm? I would take the second point in glaives at this point because we're just straight jungling. Yeah, okay, you do. So the thing for me is, by doing what you did, you forced yourself out of lane. And what I mean by what you did is, you don't necessarily have to leave lane since you guys have 3 heroes here if you just pull small camp right now.
Yep.
So if you pull small, the default, if your lane feels rough, the default should be small camp pull into farm small camp. Because this gives you your tokens as soon as possible with as little investment from yourself. And oftentimes, it leaves you closest to the lane, such that if the lane pushes into your tower, at the very least, you sit here soaking XP.
Yep.
And it's a big deal, right? Especially on a hero like Luna, who is she is an item-based farmer, but she's also a level-based farmer, right? Like, she just needs points up in this, right? So, what happens here when you don't pull and you, then you end up, like, you sneak the camp, which is nice and all, but, like, look, we lost, like, 300 HP there, and now we're completely out of the lane. Like, we're just gone now, right? So then this happens, and I would be sitting right here. I wouldn't have taken any damage from this small camp because I pulled it. The only damage I would have taken is this camp. And then I'd be sitting right here getting this XP, and if the tiny goes mid, I'm free to walk here. Right? Like, suddenly, but by you doing this, what happens is if tiny leaves, Largo's free farming, and another lane gets lost.
Yep.
So it snowballs this very quickly. So the way I look at this is, when you're losing, when lane is lost,
I frequently, and I mean frequently, find myself in a situation where I have assessed my lane as, all right, I can't be here. And I go to the jungle, and then, 45 seconds later, the Tiny and the Largo are all the way on the other side of the map, and look where I am, right? How quickly am I going to reach that enemy, the safe lane tower to farm that wave? So I'm like, wow, this is now horribly inefficient because of my positioning on the map.
Yes.
And it feels so bad every time, and I'm just like, how did I end up in this situation?
You ended up in this situation, in my opinion, because you're viewing it as 0 and 1. Your mission is to stay as close to the lane as humanly possible. All times. That's not a 0 to 1 situation. That is a fluctuating, dynamic situation. Do you see what I mean by this?
Yeah.
So you're either thinking lane's over and I jungle, or I'm winning lane, I lane. Do you see how, like, that's what I'm hearing at least. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so when you all in commit to one thing, then when the other thing happens, you're fucked. Like, that's just the nature of Dota and life in general. Like, we want to hedge the circumstance of what, like, we want, the goal of Dota here, like, this applies to other things too, but the goal of Dota here is to be able to account for as many possibilities as possible. So for me, if I stay sticky to the lane, I use it in the document, the word is, I say, when lane is lost, be as sticky as possible to the lane. So the stickiest thing you can do is pull this camp, and then farm this one, and then sit under tower for XP. There are very few times where I can't do that. Very few times. And the most important part about that is just like you said, where they leave or some shit. And if you're doing that, you're like, holy shit, 7 creeps. You know? And you're also like 3/4 HP. But if you do it your way, where you're like, it is technically more efficient for you to do this if the lane is unapproachable, right? But now you've made it so that if the lane is approachable, you can't go there anyway. Like, it doesn't matter. So your agency in the situation is 0. Like, you're like, I hope one of my teammates takes the lane. And so I think you would heavily benefit from, rather than thinking, is my laning over or not, it's how close and how much can I play in the lane?
Okay.
And the closest you can play that's outside of the lane is this camp getting pulled and this camp.
Yep.
So that's the closest. So if you've tried that and you got booted out, go jungle. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, that's the most conservative, is those 2 camps and sitting for XP down here. Like, you're not even showing your hero. So if you did that and then walked into lane and hit the creeps and died, next time I'd want you to walk into lane, defensive aggro these creeps down here, like to a safer position. If you still die that way, then you sit here at XP. And if you still die that way, you can leave.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, that's not a 0 to 1. That's a very gradual adjustment to sticking in lane. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Every time, like, general turn 0 and 1s into dynamic gradients. Like, that, for me, that is just a universal coaching thing I've had to do. And I consider these things to be kind of blind spots for us. Like, we all have them, myself included. It's like, when am I thinking binary? I'm either laning or I'm not. I'm either strong or I'm not. I'm either fighting or I'm not. It's like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how strong am I to fight? Where would I be willing to fight? Like, what abilities do I need to see casted before I feel comfortable TPing to that fight? It's never 0.
Yep.
But I've thought about it plenty this way, where it's like, I'm not fighting at all right now. I'm 200 gold away from BKB. Well, if all of the abilities that they use that I need BKB for get casted and they're diving my tower, I don't need BKB.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I've leaned way too much. Like, we've all done it, but I'm trying to give specific examples of what happens when you think binary. You just miss opportunities. And in this case, you already said it yourself. They leave, and I just miss these creeps, and I can't go back. That's the effective missed opportunity that you're having here. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, I've done this too. I've done this myself as well. So given what this lane, or given the way that this game is played out, I think when you're like Luna against Anti-Mage, you have to be able to be active somewhat in the game. Otherwise, it's just fucked. So like, I wouldn't go Mask of Madness. I would just go Dragonlance in a game like this, with the intent to be stickier to lane, knowing that while I'm in lane, so it's not only about the position on the map and play, it's, are there items that allow me to be sticky to this lane? And because their combo on you is like a avalanche toss into Largo, that's a very flat amount of damage. It's not like an Ursa or like a Viper who's just gonna fucking kill you full to 0 if they're allowed to hit you. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like an extra 280 health or 300 or whatever from Dragonlance, and the positioning of Dragonlance would make your ability to lane better. So, you know, I'm thinking like, not only stickiness in terms of positioning, this also pertains to the items you go. For me, I've just learned in the meta right now, if you're off map, not even being allowed to scoop up lanes, you're actually just useless. It feels awful. It happens sometimes, but I've learned that it's so awful that I need to craft a way to be able to lane.
I've also noticed, so ever since they've nerfed like the gold from jungle camps like twice now, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so. And they buffed the lane creeps as well.
Yeah, so if you can't touch the lane creeps, it feels really bad.
Yeah, I mean, it feels really awful when you have absolutely zero manipulation of the lane creeps in the game as carry. And it's only fine if you're so far ahead that your teammates can do it for you. Like, then it's fine. Yeah, hit up the fucking newts. You know what I mean? Play off map. Be a stealthy ninja. You know? But, like, it's not good defensively. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. That's been my experience with Dota in the big map. And it lines up with what I see pro players doing. They all itemize to stay on map. They all itemize to clear waves rapidly. Like, that's why I think Kez is like a 10 times better PA, because he just like echo slashes the wave and leaves, you know. Heroes like PA and shit can't do this. You know, that's why I'm partially surprised Luna's not picked in competitive. I think she's a pretty good hero.
Hasn't she been picked at PGL?
I haven't been watching PGL, so maybe she
Yeah.
has. She was
She
not picked
has.
at Dream League. Yeah. Is she winning?
I have not seen the ending of the game, so like I've been tuning in and out. Unfortunately, it's
Let's actually see real quick. Dota buff. PGL. Is it season 6?
I think so.
No, that's 4 months ago. It'd be season 7 probably. No. Season 7. Yeah, okay, it's season 7. Let's look here. Heroes. Luna is 6 games, 50% win rate. Okay. Yeah, she is getting picked though.
Recently, I have adopted the mindset of like pro games are good for entertainment only, and if you want to watch to learn, you're better off just watching the like 8K MMR pubs that you find in the client. Because there's like a level of coordination in pro games that you are just never going to get in your pub games, and that's fine. So it's like you're watching unrealistic conditions and trying to play like it. Does that
Yeah,
make
it's
sense?
interesting. I understand what you're saying. I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong. I mean, I used to learn the most back in the day watching RTZ play pubs, not watching him play pro matches. So I agree with that. I think there is merit to watching pro games, but I agree with you that what you're saying exists. So what's really funny about this circumstance is I think you're nailing it here, and this little step forward, this one right here, is such a big deal to me.
Yeah.
Like, what I'm saying is this entire time, I'm like, oh yeah, he's farming backwards, farming backwards, farming backwards. And then you walk not backwards. And that's why you die.
Yeah. It felt rough. I was like, man, I didn't even see it coming.
It's one of those things, though, where it's the same thing in lane, where what happens when I hit this guy, having this keen sense of what happens when I move forwards and what happens when I farm backwards, and just being consciously deciding if I'm farming backwards or not. No eclipse, Mask of Madness not even complete yet. I'm just got done fighting. I'm not fucking taking a step forward. Maybe you're thinking, oh, we can go on this tiny down here with my 2 supports. No! You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's these little things that add up a lot. This is the map farming equivalent of what happens when I hit this guy. What happens when I farm forwards or backwards? Map equivalent. Does that make sense to you the way I'm explaining it? The map equivalent of what happens when I hit this guy?
Yep.
Okay. Cool. In my head it made sense, but you never know. So you actually skipped the Mask of Madness, or is your courier dead or something?
No, I skipped the Mask of Madness. Okay. I decided that the 1,000 gold on the blade isn't useful in this scenario. I need like stats and real items.
Okay, so you actually had made the adjustment that I said you should make. That's interesting.
Yes.
Like that's cool. That's good. That's good heads up. I think that's actually a nice heads up play. So the reason why I lost that educational... Oh, go ahead. You were going to say something.
I thought about the ancient camp there, and then I was like, I can't kill it yet, and then left.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking about, like, reason why I talked about this real quick, just so I don't lose the thought, but then I'll address that. Is the reason I lost that educational Smurf game was because I was focused on being efficient rather than my presence on the map.
Yep.
That was my focus there, and I realized, I'm like, holy shit, even if I do this incorrectly in a 4K game, I can lose. Like, that's crazy to me. So, like, obviously it was a pretty extreme circumstance and all that, but the point is that was my priority, and then I was like, wow, this is such an alarming wake-up call that if I prioritize presence on the map, it's like, I know this in 11K games, I do it, you know, but I just thought that was so interesting. So reason why, like, I was thinking about the Dragonlance was like, yeah, presence on the map, and it sounds like you had a similar understanding. But here you're saying you were considering Ancients. Based on the map right now, I see a bunch of heroes here. I have no reason not to be willing to farm forwards. And I would not... You're beaming jungle creeps way too much, for sure. Like, right now, I'm seeing that you're low on mana. I wouldn't have casted... I mean, maybe casting that's fine, but that beam is really bad, because what I would do here is TP bottom.
Yep.
What I would do is I see an opportunity to quote-unquote farm forwards, which is either gradually or teleporting myself. So the gradually is less greedy, meaning you have a medium amount of information. You're like, oh, I see storm mid or something, so I feel fine to walk forwards. But TPing there is like, oh shit, I see Tiny, I see Lion, I see Anti-Mage on the map. Like, I feel really good to TP in, take this, and then farm backwards like this. And you beaming this creep means you have no fucking mana. So you can't exist on the map. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, you're buying yourself clarities, but was it you that I talked about beaming creeps too much?
Yeah, 100%. You
Okay.
did. I have no idea why. Like this, it might be like one of those situations where I'm under pressure, or I feel under pressure, and I'm just reverting to bad habits.
That's fair. I don't expect stuff like that to get fixed instantly. When it comes to bad habits, I think it's always like we have to explicitly understand the cost that this bad habit's having on us. That applies to real life too. And when we're in our own heads, we don't think that way. You know what I mean? Like, we're not thinking like, what is the cost of this action? That's not what our brain's thinking. So I totally get that. So the question I have for you about the beam thing, when I beam, how does this impact my ability to be on the map? That is the anchoring question. Meaning, when you find yourself in your own head and you're beaming creeps too much, falling into that old habit, it's going to happen. It's okay. How does this impact my ability to be on the map? And your goal is to maximize presence on the map, not how fast you clear creeps. Creep clear is important to maximize as long as your map presence comes first. Do you know what I mean? Just swap that order. Yep. Below your MMR, when people are not as aware of hero matchups and all this kind of stuff, then getting 800 GPM is what matters. But now, how far up on the map can you play? How many resources can you have to do it? That's what matters. And then while you operate within those constraints, how fast can you kill creeps? You know what I mean? That's you. It's actually beauty in the constraints. So less beams, less mana. Okay, so you TP to the fight, which is good positioning. I like this. That's fantastic. Good instinct to TP to that fight. I think this is actually great. It is your general map presence that's lacking. That TP to bottom would have been huge. Because then you farm backwards, your TP scrolls up at about the same time that fight happens. And then bottom tower might be alive, and that's just the difference here. Same game state with a bottom tower that's alive. Okay, so you're grouping up with your team quite nicely. I think a lot of these things are very good. The difference here is that your Are you a frontliner at 17 minutes?
No,
Okay.
absolutely not.
So,
I think
good.
here, am painfully aware sometimes that like I'm not a frontliner. This is one of those situations where I saw that the tower could potentially fall. I saw that we were behind. I saw that this was a chance that if for whatever reason they could not defend this tower, like the 10% chance that it would really open up the map for us. So I was like trying to force the issue. I figured if my team saw me hitting this tower, they would hit the tower with me. I was probably in voice chat saying, "Hey, we need this tower. We need this tower."
You saying you need this tower sounds the same to me as your disruptor needs to hit this guy.
Right.
Um,
Not good.
it's if I apologize if I'm overstepping, but it's very clearly to me emotionally driven. Like
Yep.
what you're telling me is not rooted in truth. It's like rooted in this is how the game feels. I must do this now. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
And so obviously emotions play a role in like every decision that we make, no doubt, like in life in general. But the point is like, is it driving our decision consciously? And is that decision helping us? Like that's like for me the summary of like emotional awareness in Dota. So you having this panicky feeling is fucking you, man. Like I just gotta tell you, like I'm not telling you like don't have it, wrong. You should feel bad about it. But what I'm saying is everybody gets this sense of urgency. Like we all have it. It's just what we do with it is what matters. So I would encourage you somewhere along the line of recognizing this panicky feeling that you get, this sense of like foreboding shit's gonna happen here, right? Like it's in lane, like, ah man, it feels like we're losing this lane because disruptor's not hitting them enough. It feels like we're not able to climb back in the game because we're not getting this tower. Your approach there, in my opinion, should be cautious, zero fucking calls.
Yep.
Like if you can rewire that to caution and zero calls, I actually think it would have a like this is temporary, but it's like what happens is right now you're acting upon it. For me, the first thing I always do is when I have an emotion that I'm acting on that is causing me harm when I act on it, like I'm getting myself in trouble, I'm saying stupid shit or whatever, my first thing is to just stop doing the thing that I'm doing. And that almost always comes with stop, pause, collect myself. The equivalent of Dota is stop, farm passively. Just turn that into a farm passively. Like imagine if you did that in lane. Like I feel like my disruptor's not being aggressive. Stop, farm passively. Like think about it, right? Like that would help a lot based on what we were implementing earlier in the session. You agree, right? Like I'm actually not trying to force that on you. Does that resonate or make sense? What I'm saying? Okay. So I don't like how would you maybe the better question is how would you describe because I use like panicky things are going wrong. How would you describe that feeling? In your own words.
I think the sense of urgency is it describes it well because I feel like I get into this headspace where I'm looking for openings, I'm looking for mistakes because I feel like we're behind, so we're relying on them making mistakes at this point, right? And them having 2 dead, us having 4 heroes here with almost 4 HP and being unlikely to defend this tower is a potential mistake on their part. And therefore, but if we're going to act on this mistake, we need to act now. You know, it can't be like 10 seconds as we weigh our options. It has to be now. So urgency is a good way, but it, like you said, it's a double-edged sword because that urgency could also cause me to make a mistake, you know, and I lose half my HP. I could potentially die, you know, so.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Interesting. Yeah, I guess in my head, there's a big difference between me being like, now's the best time versus I have to do this now.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Clearly making that distinction?
Yes.
Okay. Because for me, if I think now's the best time versus I have to do this now is going to drive very different decisions.
Yep.
Like, the decision itself might end up being the same, but like, it's going to, one of them is a more accurate filter, in my opinion. I'm making what I think is the best decision right now versus I think I have to do this right now. Because that one creates self pressure, which will lead you to do forced things. The reason why I don't like this is because Anti-Mage is hitting your tier 2. You're behind on farm right now, and against Anti-Mage, you're always playing a farm game. And the game that you turn into is a split pushing game through and through. Lanes are super fucking important. We have a teleport scroll, and we also have the ability to farm backwards. But instead, what happens here is we spend time taking 500 damage from Largo, while our Axe TP's away to deal with the lane. And then this whole time, Storm's pushing bottom, Anti-Mage is farming, they have Fort. We just took another 700 damage. We've hit literally 0 creeps this whole time. And I want to show that 99% of the time, back up and play the map.
Yep.
Honestly, that's the meta right now. It just is. Back up and play the map. Unless you are confident that you can just walk at that building and they literally can't do anything. Like, nothing they do. They walk into us, they're fucking dead. Lanes are good. They walk into us, they're fucking dead. Like, that means hit a tower.
Okay.
So, lanes, other lanes look good. They walk into us, they are fucking dead. Equals hit tower. Or walk into us, they are fucking dead. Or walk into us, they can't do anything. Like, they just, like, we just laugh it off, and that's the statement you're making. It's like, we have a mech, and they have 500 damage of nukes, and we'll just heal through it, and they can't stop us. So, for me, that's what it takes to hit a tower. So, it's like, I've tried to explain in a lot of my coaching sessions, we need to ramp up the criteria for hitting towers in average, like the people that I'm coaching. You guys need to ramp up the criteria. Like right now, if the threshold is like a 3 out of 10, you need to make it like a 9 out of 10. Like the circumstances and how ideal they are. Just make it higher. Make your threshold for hitting towers way higher. The map is just so important to play. You're missing kills on Anti-Mage, you're missing farm. Look what happened. We got 2 kills, and look at what happened between the time that we got 2 kills. I'm fast forwarding here. Where is it? We get 2 kills. So during this time, no towers get taken, and the map is just getting farmed, and their lead is expanding. And that's what we care about when we get 2 kills. Is the lead expanding for them. So we are at about 5 to 10 minutes left, so I want to make sure I get anything I'm missing in this game for you, because I feel like the main thing we had coming into the session was what happens when I lose my lane, how do I handle losing lanes in general, and how do I come back into the game. So for me, that's predominantly the first 20 minutes of the game, which we've talked obviously only about. Is there another portion of the game that you would like to see for the last 5-10 minutes, or what would you like to do?
Not that I can remember from this exact game. I like this game obviously went an hour.
Yeah.
We had an opportunity to end it. We got scared, backed off. Then our next opportunity, I died. I was frustrated by Largo's existence. I bought back. Then my team got caught out. They died. Then I died with no buyback because I bought back for a dumb reason. And yeah, then we lost. So like, I mean, the reason we had a chance to win and the reason we lost is pretty apparent to me.
Okay.
The questions for this game were like, how could I avoid getting to that scenario? You know?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, all that makes sense. You know, I think amongst all of this, when it comes to the comeback of the game, or like meaning like when you're recovering from a bad lane, I think your instinct of when to join fights and your positioning in them was very good. Like, I think you're doing a great job of connecting. Like, it's odd because you're effectively removing yourself from the game in terms of, like, very binarily, like, I'm leaving lane and I'm jungling. But then you are connecting to fights properly. So for me, it's like, okay, his instinct of playing away from his team, but then grouping up with his team when necessary, these are good things. These are things that people don't always have, right? So it's about what are you doing as like a baseline map pressure? Like how far up are you playing? And like how, like usually I have to teach people to join fights properly rather than maximize their map presence. But with you, I feel like your joining fights intuition is good. So then we need to have your overall map presence be a little bit higher on average. With like the stickiness to your lane and how far up you play and stuff like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I think the comeback fight part of things you're good at. So that part we don't have to train at all. I think what I'm seeing. It was very good this game. Your instinct was good. So then I said on my notes like that instinct is good, but the general presence on the map, but also your instinct on what to do with a one fight kind of plays into this because when you're losing, the entire motive, I mean, it's the entire Dota as a whole, your entire motive is to fight for territory. And territory doesn't mean towers, it means how far up the lanes can be pushed. That's what territory means because if the lanes are pushed to a certain degree, that means we have access to all the camps behind them, which means we have more room to farm and we have more space on the map to make plays. It's harder to gank us because there's more potential areas that we could be in. And so it's all about expanding the map. And expanding the map is not predominantly done through towers. Yes, that tower would be nice, but that's not what I mean. You lose a fight, I want you to look at lanes, not objectives. Or you win a fight. Sorry, you win a fight, lose a fight, whatever. That's like everything you're doing is what happens when they push this lane? What happens when we win this fight? Where are the lanes? That's if we can shift that focus, you're already doing a great job of joining fights. So we just need that to be the central focus, I think, for you to avoid being in the situation that you're in now.
Yep.
Which also plays into the first 5 minutes of the game, which is rather than being aware of how much the lanes are being pushed, how much am I farming this lane? Like, you were doing fine, in my opinion. Like, 3 minutes in, maybe your CS wasn't stellar or anything. Maybe potentially you guys could be more aggressive, but you were farming just fine.
Right.
And it's funny how often we
myself.
self-sabotage a little bit, But yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's funny. I think you remind me of myself in the sense that sometimes I have this gut feeling that you're creating your own problems. Like the lane's actually good, the game's actually good, and then there's times where you feel like you need to do more.
I see that because there are moments where I feel like the lane was lost, and I'll like the game will end, win or lose, whatever, and I'll look at the net worth, and I'm like, I was even with the off lane.
Yeah.
Like, why did it feel so hard? Why did I even leave lane? Like,
Mm.
his net worth skyrocketed and mine didn't.
Mm. Yeah. That's really interesting. I think there's some mental blocker in there that is overly hard on yourself in some way. That's how it worked for me. Like I was just being hard on myself. And it was guiding me towards, or not guiding me, it was misleading me in terms of my awareness of what the game state actually was. And that's why at the very beginning of the session, I asked you, how often are you assessing your chance to win? So I think maybe a better question is, how often are you assessing you thought you lost your lane? I think it's an equally detrimental thing to do.
Yeah.
I think the positive thing to do in terms of like using that same idea, but using it in a way that I think will help you better is how far up in the lane can I play? How close to the lane can I play? Because that is determined by how well you did in lane, but it's less binary and it's more, it is more objective in my opinion.
Yep.
So I think if we can shift that a little bit, because I think you've got a lot of good pieces, and it's funny like that you say what you said, where you feel like you're losing, and it's fine. When you look back on it, I genuinely believe that based on what you're saying and what I saw in this game, that there's just a lot of situations where you're doing perfectly fine and you think you're not, and you try to overcompensate and you fuck yourself. Like I'm pretty sure that's what's happening to you, and I think it's. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
The situations where that happens to me is definitely not zero. So I agree.
Yeah, they can be game losing to make these decisions, by the way. Meaning, like, if you're playing well 95% of the game and then you do that a few times, your win rate will plummet. You know what I mean? So, like, the last thing we want to do is have you feel like you need to fix your general gameplay when these individual moments are going to be really, really hindering you. The general gameplay will get fixed as long as the way we're approaching these moments is with the questions we've created. You're welcome to turn those into your own words and all that stuff. Those are just meant to be kind of guidelines.
It's funny that, like, so much of this game isn't like the sit back and chill like I wish it was. Like, to actually like play the game at like the level that I'm at. I have to actually think, like, and sometimes I wish that like this was all like just habit, so like I could just play, and relax
I feel that.
instead of like having to like actively think all the time. Be like, all right, what's the game state? Like, what happens now? How's my farm? Where can I farm? Sometimes it can be a little disappointing that it's as intensive as it is. And it's only going to get more difficult. The players are only going to get better. I'm going to have to think more. I'm going to have to get better. Yeah. Not that like sometimes it's also a good thing. Like sometimes when you come to relax, you come to not think about like the stressors of life. So like thinking about something else helps. So sometimes it's helpful, but sometimes it's disappointing, or you can't just play the game.
Yeah, no, I absolutely feel that. I'll leave with the note that I've had the issue. I've had people kind of tell me this about me is like, Brian, you don't always have to be improving. And they're not talking about Dota. They're like talking about life. Like I'm like on this self-improvement addiction sometimes, And
Mhm.
I think the biggest thing about this is that I've actually applied to Dota is that people will ask me, what's your MMR goal? Like this has happened a lot in the last year. And I usually just say like, I don't really have one. I'm content chilling where I'm at. Like I'm just enjoying the experience. So I would just tell you that I think maybe the one thing to think about for yourself here is that you can play this game chill. You're just not going to gain any MMR.
Yeah.
And if that's what you love about the game, I think there's a balance here. I think it's equally detrimental to always be chill and never gain an MMR because that just gets really frustrating. What am I even fucking doing with my time? But then it's equally detrimental to feel like you always have to improve. You know what I mean? Like I've leaned on that front where it's like it really eats me alive because I feel like I always have to improve, and I have a very similar sentiment that you just said where I'm like, man, does it ever fucking end? This is exhausting. And for me, it's a lot about being conscious of which one I'm doing. Am I here to just vibe and enjoy the game? I think they can't be simultaneous.
Yeah.
But what the
Yeah.
improvement does is it does raise your habits, right? It raises your floor. So when you're not thinking, you'll be a 4100 MMR player rather than a 3800, right? It's like your floor will keep you there. So as long as you're okay with like what I've realized is if I'm not really trying to improve, I'm in 50-50s. Like I am in the 50-50 because I'm not improving. So I'll win some games and I'll lose some games. And I have a lot of fun, like it can be very fun to win and lose some games. And I know that like because I'm not actively improving, that's what's going to happen. I just want to remind you, man, like even though we're in like an improvement based community and you're here for coaching and stuff, my goal is to arm you with stuff to help you improve. But I also encourage you to just like have times where who fucking cares, man? Go vibe, play the game. Why the reason why you like playing it too? Like, I think that's important.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us out here can resonate with that, man. Life's fucking hard, and if we always try to improve, it just gets like, man, does it ever fucking end? Goes for Dota too, man. So I get that.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Anything else, I guess?
No, I mean, not from my end. I liked your insight. I liked your reflection. I think you've got some like from my end, like you know, I always ask myself, do I feel like the coaching student understands what I was trying to get across and how to do it for themselves? And from my perspective, you do. So, it feels good on my end. Any other thoughts on your
Okay.
end?
No,
Good,
that's
man.
it.
Awesome.
I think I got a lot of information that's useful.
Sweet. That's what we love to hear. I'll leave you there then. Man. Have a good one.
You too.
See you around. Yeah, that was a nice session. What do people in the chat think about this? Looks like there's not too much being discussed. Good points, no doubt. Nice. Great session. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'll spend like 5-10 minutes. Does anybody have questions or thoughts? Let me actually go to the restroom and get my food, and then I'll hang out with you guys for just a bit. Who is BSJ being coached by? Actually, I mean, I haven't been coached by somebody in quite some time. I did talk to Quinn at Dream League, and I do intend to reach out to him about getting coached. He did say he was down to coach me. I just haven't had time to play much Dota, so it didn't feel right to ask for a session when I haven't been playing very much. The best generic use of position 4. I'm not sure what you mean. When do you forego sticking to your lane to either help another lane or avoid a multi-hero gank? It's not stickiness to your lane in particular, it's stickiness to laning and presence on the map in general. So, I mean, learning to help other lanes and stuff, that's like, I mean, the idea is that if your thought is, I'm either going to lane or I'm not, that's a problem. It's like a dynamic, how much can I lane? How far up can I lane? What other lanes could I go to and help? These are very tough decisions, but they require that decision to be made. What do you do when you farm and before you get Battle Fury's anti-mage, your team has already lost the game in 10 minutes? That's sometimes just a what can you do situation. You're going to have to split push for the next 30 minutes and hope for the best. I literally have no idea what to do anymore. What does that mean? Does your gameplay get worse if you spend a month not playing? I mean, played 4 games for the first time in 3 weeks and won 3 of them. Like, that was when I got back from Dream League. I haven't played since because I've had so much work shit or life shit going on, but I hadn't played for a whole month here, and I won 3 out of 4 games, so I guess not particularly. But I was also spending those 3 weeks watching and analyzing Dota every day, so it's like very different, I guess. How do you decide whether you should queue a game or not? I actually spent a lot of time. I spent maybe like 6 months of my life really critically assessing what it meant to queue a game when I was like not in a good headspace. Like, what was the criteria for queuing a game? And for me, it may sound like a lot of work just to figure out when to queue a game, but for me, it helped me like extrapolate it to when I should do certain things. Like, it's a bad idea for me to do this when I feel this way. It's a bad idea for me to queue a game when I'm hungry or tired or I have other shit that I need to do that I'm anxious about and I haven't done it yet. So one of the first questions for me and what I've stopped doing is, or at least largely stopped doing is, am I queuing this game in order to escape something that I'm experiencing in life? So a responsibility that I know I have and I'm like distracting myself from it. That's like a reason I wouldn't queue a game. Does your maybe a shape? I have this thought I know more about Dota than what I can improve it mechanically. Do you believe this is for everyone? I mean, I think that it's a very knowledge-based game, and that the ability for people to apply their knowledge mechanically is varying. So I think it's like possible that that happens and there's like a mismatch. Do you read YouTube chat? Yes, I do. What things should I keep in mind in drafting phase as a carry? I think the number one thing to ask yourself is, how does the enemy lineup kill heroes? And how do I survive that? So what hero can survive that, and what items help me survive that? So, like, say they have roots or silences. It's like, oh, it's a really good Manta game. I should pick a carry that buys Manta. What are you eating? A Subway sandwich. Italian BMT. That was a good. That was a sick game. Toft plays Dota. Those are good times. You have a coaching session VOD of a Kez player? No, I do not. Are we going to get more educational Smurf videos anytime soon? Yes. The goal will be next week. Not this week, but next week. Our single polls kind of bad. I think single polls are fine. I think there's a lot of nuance to polls, but saying they're kind of bad, I wouldn't agree with that. Frozen has been my best friend since I was a kid. Oh, my old teammate Frozen. I haven't thought about him in a while. Good times. Yeah, he was a good guy. Hope he's doing well. Is he doing well? Hope all's well. Thank you, Poning Sam. I had a lot of like stressful things happen in the last 2 weeks. I guess again or whatever. So, but it kind of got resolved the last few days. So I'm really happy about that. I take fights that I believe are correct, and I communicate to my team when I will and not be fighting. Key official. I communicate what I intend to do, and I stick to what I think is correct. The number one piece of advice I have for anybody playing Dota is make your own mistakes. If you think it's the wrong play, don't do it. He lives in Florida now. Oh, okay. Very cool. I can't remember where he lived. Do you think pros take neuro-performance drugs in critical game to increase performance? I'm sure some of them do. I've never taken a performance-enhancing drug before. Maybe that was my problem. When's the next tournament you're going to cash? I will be working Dream League Season 29, which is May 11th, I think? May 13th, something like that. Rubidium, it's interesting. I watched Dr. K stream recently. Like, it literally came out like a day or two ago, where he talked about basically like numbness and like the inability to feel anything. And I think like my recommendation, because I'm not too familiar with it, but I would recommend you check it out. It's Dr. K's recent stream on YouTube. Because he goes in depth about like why we feel nothing and what to do about it. So I think it's cool. If you're asking me for advice, that's what I would do. I hop on and off the game, so maybe that's the reason I never gained significant MMR. Yeah, I mean, it's like if you go to the gym for a month straight, then you don't go to the gym for a month, then you go to the gym for a month straight. It's like you're not really going to get any stronger. You know what I mean? As in compared to a stack pull or pull through. I mean, there's benefits to the thing about stack pulling is it's greedier, right? Because it denies the whole wave, but you have to have stronger control of the lane to do so. You have to be able to like defend it, right? So single pull is like the least greedy way to pull. So it just when it comes to greed, it's all about how much can you get away with, right? Is that your Smurf account? No, I don't have a Smurf account. I've watched your video about TI. You will not be joining into the panel, but do you want to join as a visitor just to chill in China? No, China's too far away. I went to the Copenhagen TI. I went to the Copenhagen TI, but China's way too far away. First time commenting here. How do you deal with bad call captain in pub, where he incentivized the team to fight when ult is down or go for a bad gank? I would probably say something like, I would probably mute the guy. That's what I would do. And then I would communicate to my team what I plan to do. That is what I would do. I think the most important button in the game is muting. In real life, if I don't like what you're saying, I'm going to walk away. I can't do that in a game of Dota, so the only thing I can do is mute you if I don't like what you're saying. And it doesn't mean that I think you're toxic. It's just that I ask myself the question, is what this person's saying helping me think better about the game? Is it helping me make good decisions? Is it helping me win? And if the answer is no, then I mute them. That's my criteria for muting somebody. In the past, I used to only mute people if they were being toxic. But now, for me, it's much less about judging their character as it is about, is this person's communication helping me? If the answer is no, I just mute them. And I've learned that the majority of my mutes are actually people who are well-intentioned, and they're trying to be in-game leaders and stuff, and they just suck at it. And that's fine. I'm sure I've been muted for the same reason. Any tips for position 4 BH? I'm not the best at giving general tips for a hero in general. Like, I personally used to... Okay, so I'm like a recovering anxious attached person. And so the way I used to think about muting was that I felt bad about muting people. Like, I felt like I was casting a judgment upon them for muting them. And it's because that's how I like viewed myself. If people muted me, then that's their way of saying I hate you or whatever. But as I feel like I've grown, it's like obvious to me now that by muting somebody, it's not a personal judgment on them. It's just me saying it doesn't help me to listen to you. And it's the same thing that somebody else can do as well. So. I don't know if that resonates with anybody, but that's how I see it now. Do you have any tips, tricks for reminding yourself to check the clock? I think it's really important to effectively have alarms in the game. Every time I walk up to a creep wave, every time I farm a camp, every time I buy an item, every time I decide I'm going to walk back to base. And I would implement it one at a time. So for the next, 100 games, every time I enter a creep camp, I check the clock. So I probably have like 50 of these, and you just kind of subconsciously check the clock now. But rather than I need to remember to check the clock, just have specific in-game things that tell you to check the clock. And eventually you check the clock like every 5 seconds, 3 seconds. Sure does. I'm going to mute sound right here. Good one. Man, you and me are alike in so many aspects. Surprises me. Why does that surprise you? I often feel left out when muted. Yeah, I mean, it's for me, it's realizing that muting is nothing personal. Like, if the guy in my Twitch stream wants to mute me now, it's like, okay, man, it's nothing personal. I understand you don't like listening to me. And the second that you remove, like, the personal aspect of it, then I think it helps a lot. So the second we take it personal, it's like we're fucked. A silencer main in more ways than one. Indeed. Indeed. Like, in the past, I used to take it personally when people muted me, so I'd be like, why the fuck do you have me muted? Like, I'm trying to make calls. But in reality, it's like, oh, he has me muted, okay. It's just like, oh, he doesn't like listening to me, it's fine. Not my problem to fix, And if I get muted all the time, that's like a reflection on something I'm doing, so I should take awareness of that, right? Have you played Dota 1? I never played Dota 1. The first hero I played was Lich. My my friends told me to pick Lich, Frost Blast the guy, then sacrifice a creep. That was what I was taught first in Dota. I find that going into the game with a good headspace makes other people being tilted less of an issue. It does. Very much. We cannot control what they're doing, but we can control how we react. And that absolutely pertains to our headspace. Isn't Dota supposed to keep our win rate close to 50%? Yeah, if you're not significantly improving, the entire point of the system is to make your win rate 50%, right? It's kind of like if you're not significantly changing your daily habits, your job, your body keeps you at the same weight. Like the same thing. Like a good system will keep you at the same MMR unless you're significantly improving. Just fooling around, I lurk here a lot. No, of course, man. I could tell it was a joke. You were either joking and it was funny, or you were like a passive-aggressive asshole, and nowadays I just assume you're joking. My first hero was Morphling. I went 0-20. Morphling, not a great hero to start with. My first hero was Sniper. Nice. Yours was Dota 1 Jakiro. Very cool. Sniper, man. Sniper is one of the funnest heroes in Dota for sure. When you're casting official tournaments, the atmosphere always seems so chill. How's it like being there? I would, from my experience, the audience can detect the environment that's happening. Meaning like, for instance, like my girlfriend or like even one of my friends at home or my mom sometimes will watch, and anytime I've felt uneasy on panel, they'll detect it. They'll be like, "Hey, was something off? Was something like tense between you and one of the panel members or something like that?" And they're like always correct. So I've just learned that if the panel seems chill, then it's chill. If the panel seems tense, it's probably tense. Meaning there's like some sort of disagreement or weird dynamic between two of the panel members and stuff like this. For me, I pride myself on working well with as many people as I can. That's what I care about being. I've been told that my role is kind of defined as being the glue man. That like I make it work with whoever I'm paneling with. That's for me the most. I've been told that's what my skill is. Like that's what I offer to the panel. So do you have any beef with your co-casters ever? I wouldn't say I have. There's no one that's like worth having, not worth, but like significant beef with. But the amount that I enjoy working with somebody definitely varies, meaning from person to person. Who told you that? Several people. People I work with, people at ESL. Like I say that not because one person told me one time and I'm like, oh, that's my identity. It's like something I've heard pretty consistently by like several different sources. For a bad player, who do you say I should spam play? I play support. I mean, for me, supports that clear waves are the best way to learn how to climb MMR. So, Shakiro, Warlock. Yeah, those are like the easiest heroes right now. Shaman's good. Who's your favorite co-caster? Just so we're making sure we're talking about the same thing. I'm not technically a caster. I'm an analyst. So it's like, who's my favorite analyst / panelist to work with? My best friends in Dota are Jenkins and Shiver. But there's a lot of people I enjoy working with. But the people I'm the closest to are Jenkins and Shiver. Of course, it would be awkward for them to mention your hot bod. I mean, they've told me I'm also eye candy, but like, you know. What's your opinion on Deadlock? And are you considering to scale, assuming FPS games are getting popular and Deadlock is the bridge between? Are you considering to scale? I don't know what you mean considering to scale. Are you like, am I considering that the game will get huge? I mean, the one thing I'm never really gonna do again is like grind a game to be like the best of the best. I mean, it's kind of funny. I don't know how much of this sounds like I'm bragging or whatever. I've basically just realized I'm generally really good at games. Like, you know, I play Slay the Spire and I'm pretty fucking good at it. And I've always been like really good at games. And Dota was the only game I ever really did what I did, where I went full send it, try to become the best. And so I have a general idea of what it takes to be the best, and I have a good idea of what I didn't have and the time commitment that it takes to get there. And so the one thing I'll never really do again is to try to grind to the highest level of any game. But I also really enjoy getting really good at games. So it's kind of like, you know, for Slay the Spire 2, how many hours have I played? Like 70 or 80? A lot. I've played 62 hours of this game, and it's only been out for like a week and a half. So, like, I really enjoy Slay the Spire. But when it comes to games like Deadlock, I think it could become popular, but the problem is I think it's really hard to spectate. Like, if you compare spectating Deadlock to Dota, or sorry, to CSGO, it's like I could literally have 0 games of CSGO and be like entertained. But I have to be like immersed in Deadlock in order to watch it. So it's tough to imagine it'll ever be super popular. It's so cool. I can ask you questions, never seen a live stream, and you're the best. Thanks, man. How does a player become pro in Dota 2? Yeah, I mean, that's a... How long you got for me to answer that question? A very, very open-ended question. What's going on now? Just chilling with chat. Just chilling with chat for a little bit. We finished our coaching session, and now we're just chilling. But yeah, I don't stream too much nowadays. I do want to play some more Dotes. I mean, honestly, the last week and a half has just been really stressful for me. And I was binging Slay the Spire, so... Combination of stress, not really having time to play, and then also just wanting to play a different game. So I just haven't really been streaming it at all. Any advice on what to do on supports where you feel like it'd be a good idea to cut waves, but your hero doesn't have the wave clear for it? Just focus on something else. You can still try to cut creeps, but I mean, it's tough to say. I'd still try to cut creeps. If that's like something that's commonly happening to you, then I would pick supports that could do it. That's my thoughts. Will you be joining live caster analyst in TI? I hope you do. It makes it fun when you bust out the monitor with analysis. For a long time, I haven't been invited to TI. You know, maybe one day I'll be invited again, but for now, probably not. Yeah, thank you, Neil. Thank you. I appreciate that. More coaching sessions? No, that's going to be it for today. Only one. If you guys are at all interested in joining my enjoyment-based Dota community, You can check it out in the description on YouTube, and you can also check it out by typing Discord and Twitch !Discord. Right now, we've got about 2,800 members, and we've been slowly expanding it over time. And I'm very proud of what we've built so far. Definitely check that out. How are people responding to my video about the values? Let's see. 80 views, no comments. No comments? Do you miss Chilanqua? I mean, it depends on what you mean by miss. Do I look fondly upon those days? Yes. Do I miss him? No. Is it good for someone going pro at this point for anyone above 25 years and below 10K? I mean, I think if you're 25 years old and below 10K, that you could still be pro for sure. But like statistically, odds are not in your favor. Do you think pro hero pools matter in tournaments? Yeah, for sure. They do. 100%. I think it's more important to have 5 heroes that you're really fucking good at, as opposed to like 15 heroes that you're good at. Like, I think quality over quantity is the priority. Like, Skeeter plays like 7 heroes total, and he's won 2 TIs. So I don't think hero pool's as important as people think it is. One of my last pubs that I ever played in NA, back when I lived in America, was I was a carry Naga Siren, and Parker was mid SF. And 5 minutes into the game, he was 0-3, and he broke his items. And I carried his ass. And we won like 70 minutes into the game or something, like 50, 60, 70 minutes into the game. Like, my last memory of NA pubs was Parker breaking his items. There are very few players that I will actively root against. I wouldn't say actively, because that means like I'm like spending emotional energy rooting against them. But like, you know, I guess there's very few players that I just know will be never successful because their mentality is so terrible. And Parker's one of them. So it's better to master 5 heroes than trying to counterpick using a hero you're not familiar with. Yes. In my opinion, 100%. For me, that was one of my biggest regrets and one of the things I believe I fucked up. That if I could, like, you know, be like, son, I need you to do it differently. Like, the advice I would give everybody is it's way better to know how to play your hero in every circumstance than it is to pick the perfect hero. But once you've got, you know, 5 heroes that you play perfectly, or not perfectly, but you feel very, very good on them, and you feel like there's a hero that you would like to be able to play that would expand your hero pool, that's a very good thing to do. But the point is that if you do that before you've specialized on those other heroes, then I think you're hurting yourself. If that makes sense. Do I miss Naga Siren? Yeah, kinda. Naga Siren carry is really fun. but it's been bad for quite some time. It's kind of like I haven't had it in so long that it's hard to miss it, you know? But it, you know, I would like to play it again. When I'm playing support, it feels like I need all the items. I mean, it's just important when you have that problem to specify which way of dying you think is most likely and position according to the ones that you're not itemizing for. You know? It's like, I need a 4-stab against Ursa, but Glimmer against everybody else. Then, like, I'm going to buy a Glimmer and then position where Ursa can't go on me. You know what I mean? To be honest, with the bigger map and facets, talents, shards on every hero, I feel like this is way more true in modern Dota. It is. I agree. I think the way that Dota has gained depth over time, it's more and more important to understand your hero. For sure. What heroes would be your golden 5? Probably Lifestealer, Luna, Ursa, Slark. And Sniper. Those would be my golden 5. Those are the heroes where I just know what the fuck I'm doing. What's the MMR difference between NA and EU West? I mean, it's fucking massive. Like, NA servers virtually non-existent at my bracket. Virtually non-existent. Who's the best carry in the world? Probably Yatoro. If I had to have a carry player on my team, it'd be Yatoro. Is there a way that PL is good right now? I haven't seen any PL in any of my games, so it's hard for me to say. Honestly, I kind of feel like playing a single Dota game. I think I'm going to play a game. I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick, and then I'm going to play. I'm going to go to the bathroom, warm up for a second, and then I'm going to play. Warming up in the bathroom? Yes. I just got done stroking my cock. Okay. We'll probably play Luna or SF. Let me warm up with SF. Where's my audio? If I get carry, I'll play Luna or SF. How do I stop dying in the laning phase? Going into the game, I'd ask myself, how do they kill me? What is the exact position and series of spells that get casted that I die? Okay, I feel good now. Okay. BSJ, people say you were the last NA hope, but I would say you are the best European banana. Thank you. Means a lot. This is the expectations I like to set for myself when I'm only playing one Dota game is that this is just a crapshoot. It could very well be a dog shit game that ends in 20 minutes, and I just have to accept that, and it's fine. And that's just life. I must set the expectations. There's a thing I learned about exploring versus exploiting when it comes to restaurants. And it's like the idea of exploring is you're trying something new, and exploiting is going to your favorite restaurant that you've been to a million times. And I learned that the most important part about exploring is you have to be prepared to not like what you get, you know? Like there's just like some days where you're willing to take like, oh, I got that meal and it just wasn't that good. Because if you go to the place that you really like, then that's not going to happen, right? But the place that you don't know about, it could be potentially amazing and you discover something new, or it could be terrible. And what I've learned is for me to enjoy trying new things, I have to be in this mental space where it's okay if it doesn't go well. And I feel like that's a mentality that you have to have playing Dota. I'm only willing to queue the game if I'm okay. This game might be dog shit. You know what I mean? Do you have any advice for how to adjust to unusual and off-meta position 3 picks when you're playing carry? Knowing what to do on your hero is my advice. Being very keenly aware of how your hero recovers from bad lanes, how they interact in general. It's having a small hero pool and being very good at what you do. Who's a better position 1, you or Mason? You take your pick. Off meta position 3 on your team? Oh, I see. Kind of want to just go Viper. It's either Viper or Tide. Viper will be better when in lane. I still have the coaching overlay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I have a Morphling. Okay, they have a Slick. Slickety Slark. Slarkety Slick. This is a really good, I guess, Caustic Bath game. Is it? Yeah, I guess so. I think I go. I think I honestly go Boots of Bearing and honestly maybe even Greaves too. It's like I go like Drums, Greaves, Bearings or something. It's like a really good Bearings game, and it's a really good Greaves game. Like both are very good. We're gonna go like this. Actually, against Slark, maybe I buy Boots. My Morphling might need to be careful. The fuck? How did Slark get there? Fuck. Wait, where did he go? That got. Whoa. Actually, that's crazy. Whoops. I was not expecting that at all. Dude, you gotta be kidding me. Okay, I'm feeding. My bad. Literally just misclicked on him. I didn't mean to click him there. He's really close as well. Really sucks that I died there because I just had no reason to die.
Короче, забейте, парни, нам не победить в этой игре, ну, не получится у нас, вот я прям чувствую, поэтому давайте next просто допустим и все. Каждый из вас вот не сможем.
Okay, a little bit of feeding to start my first game back. Okay, it looks like the game's a disaster, boys. I mean, for the fact that I fed early in lane, it just means that the Slark has a good game instead of a bad game, and I'm fine, though. Is what basically happened here. Okay, my Tusk bot back. Not a good sign. Oh, I need my windlace. Okay, so my Tusk is like griefing or something. Fine. Okay. Okay. Plops back in the game. Always important to cast your spells as you're dying. Just important I defend this tower and not feed. Seems like there's some feeding going on mid. Okay, so he has max shiv. I didn't realize he had max shiv. Yeah, I won't TP into Slark shiving people anymore. My bad. Yeah, he's going the kind of cheesy build. What? I think I just missed the camp. There's no way we kill that. Yeah, Morph needs to stop showing on waves. Yeah, my feeding in lane was pretty egregious, to be honest. Fucking Christ, dude. I really did not think he was going to be able to get me like that. But in hindsight, it was kind of obvious. Wait, what? We have like a bunch of disables. He's just dead, right? Yeah, GG. Not gonna lie. This Morphling is actually managing to play worse than I am. That's pretty incredible. But I made this game really bad by dying to Slark like I did. Wait, does he not have treads? Oh, he does. He's just like buying a Midas, I see. Yeah, my team is feeding. We're against Spearbreaker, Tiny Slark, and we're losing early game, so we're just gonna get ran at. That is the nature of this game. Going on him? Slark's behind us. Yeah, these camps are farmed. Yeah, this game's pretty over. I played really badly in lane. Very sad. Ah, that was epic. GG. GG. I don't think we can lose side lanes against Slark, Spearbreaker, Tiny. Kez. Like, they just have way too much gank, so the game's just over. Well, we committed. We said that the game could be atrocious. And I got punished in lane for mispositioning twice. So that sucks. I genuinely, you know, there's actually no genuinely here. This game just kind of sucked. I almost got my Ghost Scepter. Why on earth would you pick Viper off lane? Oh shit. That's not good. What the fuck? What offlane would you say works well against Slark? I think Viper's fine. I just misplayed. I gave him a kill at the rune, and then I literally aggroed the tower. I'm supposed to win that lane pretty hard, I think. It's pretty sad to see how nothing changes from low MMR to high MMR. I mean, I think it's funny that, like, people generally, I think, not just in Dota, but in life, think that, like, other people live, like, a different life. Do you know what I mean? There's, like, it's just the human experience. People are toxic sometimes. People, you know, are run by their... You know, they're controlled by their own emotions, you know, they do stupid things. Like, I think this whole idea that somebody else's experience is, like, different than mine is just a problem in general. Like, you know, for me, it's like, why can't I escape the human experience, you know? I mean, I think Slark's Shiv is, like, insanely good if you get off to a good start, for sure. But in my experience, that, like, only reason that happened is because I fucked up really bad, for instance. I do think if you're snowballing the lane, that Slark's Shiv is really good, for sure. But in my experience, that doesn't happen. Maybe I'm just bad. I think if you're able to run at the opponent relentlessly, then the Shiv build's quite good, right? But in my experience, that doesn't happen very often. So... One would assume that people wouldn't get to your kind of MMR with this mentality. I mean, I think that MMR is predominantly, you know, you get to a higher MMR by making high skill plays, and the amount of times that you're not making good plays because of your mentality is all that really matters. I think the only time that mentality is the tiebreaker is when all else is equal, right? Like, your skill is as good as mine, so if I have a better mentality, then I'll win. But at the end of the day, I can be the most PMA player ever, but if my mechanics fucking suck, then it doesn't matter, right? What exactly is the build? Yeah, I think it's 214, or maybe even 114. I think he went 114. Yeah. I mean, if you're snowballing, I think you just max this shit for sure. But in my experience, that doesn't happen. Like, I think Slark's a very weak laner. The only reason this guy won his lane is because I died at the rune, and then I accidentally aggro tower and died to him solo. So like I literally fed him the lane. So it just sucks. But yeah, I'm going to go in there. Like I said, I was going to play one game. Sadly, it did not go very well. It is what it is. Thank you for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the stream. I'll be back. I don't know when I'll be back. I'm going to probably try to play some pubs this week, though. So hopefully we get to have some time to do that. I don't think I have any coaching sessions in the near future. Looks like right now there's no coaching sessions for this week, so that means I'll probably have some time to play some pubs. I have a coaching session on Friday. So I'll see you guys there.